Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be looking at the Gita for joyful living, and specifically verses 31 and 32 of chapter 3.
Okay.
And this is all about karma yoga.
Right.
And really the idea that, suffering comes from the mind, right?
Yeah.
And we're constantly in action. So the key is to change our attitude about those actions.
Don't forget flag.
Not necessarily like, doing different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But approaching it differently.
It's a very subtle but profound point. The text acknowledges that even when we are trying to do good in the world,
Right.
even when our actions aim to make the world a better place, we don't often see lasting solutions to problems.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was hoping we would kind of unpack here.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really stood out to me was this idea of separation from the world.
Mm-hmm.
This strong I attitude.
Yeah.
I will do this and I will get this benefit.
It definitely plays a role.
Yeah.
That I attitude is rooted in a misunderstanding of our true nature, and that leads to a strengthening of our likes and dislikes, attachment, and then ultimately delusion.
Mm-hmm.
We become so focused on what we want from the world that we fail to see the solution that's right in front of us.
Right. Yeah, it's like struggling in quicksand. The more you try to get what you think will make you happy, the more stuck you get.
Exactly. And the text suggests that karma yoga offers a way out.
Right. And this is where our existing understanding of self-knowledge and Atman
Right.
come in. Right.
Okay.
I'm curious to see how that connects with karma yoga.
Yeah. So the text emphasizes that actions don't bind those who practice karma yoga. And because, when you realize the self, the
Right.
Atman, you understand that you are not this limited I that's fixated on external results.
So it's not about ceasing action altogether.
Right.
But it's about acting from a different place internally.
Precisely. It's like, imagine a pen. The pen itself doesn't write.
Right.
It's simply a tool guided by the writer's hand. Similarly, we are part of a larger action being orchestrated by something beyond our limited selves. And just like the pen doesn't worry about the next word it's going to write,
Right.
we also, understanding this principle, don't need to be consumed by anxieties about the future.
Okay, so now let's get into the three options
Yeah.
that are presented in the text for developing the right attitude and knowledge that lead to a joyful life.
So each option offers a unique perspective. It's not about finding the correct one,
Right.
but it's more about exploring each and seeing which resonates most deeply with you right now.
Okay. So let's start with option 1, blind faith and obedience.
Okay.
What does that entail?
So this option suggests that essentially we are servants of a higher power, and that all of our duties are assigned to us, and our role is to obey those commands without question. It's like the relationship between a servant and master.
So in this view, the focus shifts from personal gain to fulfilling a divinely ordained purpose.
Exactly.
Like a complete surrender to a larger plan.
Yes. And this idea of surrender is not unique to this text. You find this as a common thread through many spiritual traditions.
Right. Okay. Option 2, gratitude and offering.
Okay.
So what's the essence of this perspective?
So here, the emphasis is on recognizing and appreciating all that we receive. Everything, from the air we breathe to the skills and talents that we possess. And then our actions become an offering of gratitude in return for these gifts.
That's beautiful. It's a really beautiful way to reframe our relationship with work.
Mm-hmm.
It's shifting from that mindset of constantly taking to one of actively giving back.
Yeah. It's a profound shift. We move away from being solely focused on what we can get from our actions.
Wow.
And instead we focus on what we can contribute.
I love that. Okay, and then finally, option 3, recognizing the universal order.
Okay.
What does that involve?
So this option invites us to see ourselves as part of a grand interconnected system where everything functions according to a predetermined order. And our duty is simply to play our part in maintaining that order, contributing to the harmony of the whole.
It's like we're each a piece of a larger puzzle.
Yeah.
And we may not be able to see the whole picture, but our individual role is essential to make the whole picture come together.
Yeah. And this concept of interconnectedness resonates with a lot of modern ideas.
Right.
From ecological principles to systems thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And the text uses this analogy of flowing water. As long as the water flows, it stays fresh, vibrant.
Right.
But if it stagnates, it becomes, stagnant.
Yeah.
Similarly, wealth and resources must be kept flowing for the benefit of all.
So instead of clinging to what we have, we should strive to use it for good, for like the good of all.
That's a key insight.
Yeah, and recognizing that it's all like part of a bigger system.
Yeah.
These are really thought-provoking. And, the text doesn't really present like one as like better than the other.
Right.
It seems like it's more about finding the perspective that helps you shift your attitude
Right.
and experience more joy in life.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that the text doesn't really, it doesn't position the benefits of these options as like some far-off reward.
Right.
It's suggesting that we can experience joy right now.
Right now.
Simply by adjusting our attitude.
They even use the example of like overcoming boredom at work,
Right.
which I think a lot of people can relate to.
Absolutely.
And this idea that like a simple shift in perspective could make even like the most mundane tasks more enjoyable.
It's very appealing.
Yeah, it really
It
is.
speaks to the power of finding meaning in our actions, even the seemingly insignificant ones, when we connect to a larger purpose. Our motivation and our engagement increase naturally.
So for our listeners, like what's the core message?
Yeah.
What are like some takeaways that they should be thinking about?
So the main takeaway is this. Lasting joy doesn't come from chasing after external results. It arises from cultivating a different internal attitude. And these three options provide distinct pathways for achieving that shift.
And it's empowering to know we have a choice in how we approach our actions.
Absolutely.
We're not like victims of circumstance,
No.
but we're active participants in creating our own experience.
That's a crucial point. Verses 31 and 32 actually highlight the contrast between freedom and bondage based on our chosen approach to these teachings.
It's a profound reminder that, we have the power to choose joy.
That's